Hey, y'all. Sorry. Happy Tuesday. I was looking down. That's it. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, people. It's Trending Topics. We're in the building. Thanks for being here. Y'all know the routine. Hit the like button. Don't cheat the diva, okay? It's Tuesday. It's Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is simple. It's called Nobody's Perfect. Nobody's perfect. But in life, we have to decide sometimes, in spite of nobody being perfect, who imperfections can we deal with? And hey, everybody, I see y'all. Thanks for being here. Who imperfections can we deal with? That's what we have to decide. Nobody's perfect. So, and just because you forgive someone, it also doesn't mean that you have to accept them back in your life at the same capacity. You don't. Nobody's perfect. So Diddy said enters rehab from behind bars, okay? He enters rehab, and it's a smart move on his behalf. This is not about whether you like Diddy. This is not whether he's a monster, not a monster, this, that, and the other. It's about it being a smart move. It's a smart move for many reasons. Reason number one, he needs rehab. And he needs extensive rehab. The man has done a lot. Obviously, he got a problem keeping his hands to himself. He likes the substances. He has a lot to talk through and work through in this rehab. And, a lot of people, getting off the substances, it's a rough road for them. That's why they tell you, I'm 19 months sober. I'm 25 months sober. I'm 13 years sober. Because just like that, after all that hard work, they could slip right back into it. So to God be the glory, he's into a rehab program. And I'm sure he's thinking too, and his lawyers are saying to themselves that, once he goes up for sentencing again, they don't want the judge to tell him again, how can we prove that you're not violent? This time, the lawyers and him, they're going to be able to say, well, I entered this program, that program, and they can get a report from the people that are running those programs from behind bars. So it's a start. You got to start somewhere, right? So then we have Beyoncé. And he was either her assistant or somebody who works for her. And I feel sorry for them. They had her laptop in the car. They're driving, I guess, doing their regular duties, running errands, whatever it is they were doing. They were doing it. Somebody broke into the car and got the laptop, and it had unreleased music on it and all kinds of other stuff. Poor thing called 911, begging for help. Can you imagine having to go tell your boss, and your boss happens to be Beyoncé, that not only did you get robbed, but her laptop was in there and somebody stole it, and now they got all her good business. Unreleased music. I would want to bury my head in the sand. Can you imagine? And not just because it's Beyonce, it's any boss. And no matter where you're working, when something goes wrong, you're like, OMG. You feel bad. Nobody in their right mind wants to do bad at work. So can you imagine? Laptop gone. We're going to talk about it. Then we got Dwyane Wade, honors his mother. And this is where I said nobody's perfect. He honors his mother. His mother, when he was growing up, was incarcerated. She had an addiction problem. But she would write him letters from jail. And he loves and respects his mother and still has some of the letters that she wrote to him when she was in jail. So this just goes to tell everybody, nobody's living a perfect life. Everybody makes mistakes. But it's like, do you have the heart to forgive someone when said mistakes happen? So his mother wasn't perfect, but look at him. Did his rounds in the NBA, very good basketball player, living a good life now, married, honors his kids, take care of his kids, honors his wife. So there you have it. Even though we live in an imperfect world with imperfect people, we can still be kind and show forgiveness and be caring. Why? Because nobody's perfect. And you know, it's funny. Everybody's like, Diddy's a monster. They want him to rot up underneath the jail. But there's people that unalive people and still don't rot up underneath the jail. It's just interesting how we decide who's going to suffer what punishment, who we going to hate for the rest of our lives, and who we think can never be redeemed and should never be forgiven. We all do things that we wish somebody would forgive us. Tara. Hold on one second. Because you know I told y'all before, I'm not a big sports girl. Hold on now. She said, and his first wife's family took care of Wade only for him to mistreat them. I did say nobody's perfect. I didn't realize he was married before. Well, that's terrible. I ain't even gonna sit here and act like, you know, that's not a bad thing. That's terrible. It's horrible. But no, I did not realize he was married before. So Mark Jack said, let me see what you said. Cassie and friends talking about they don't feel safe if he was released. Who is he, Candyman or something? You know, Mark, I feel the same way and I get beat down for it all the time. And the thing that I said too is that honestly, if he did get released and he did something to him, he has to really be totally insane. Because of course, at this point, he would be suspect number one. Suspect number one. And they was doing stuff way before he even got arrested and all of that. And he didn't come for them. They were still living. I don't know. It's just insane to me. It really is. And at some point, we got to be honest. You got to take just, even if it's a smidget, you need to take some responsibility for your part in the situation, no matter the situation is. Even if it's a marriage and the marriage is a demise, even if you only own 5% of the demise, you still own some of it. But all of them in this situation, they want to remove their responsibility. They had zero responsibility, and everything that happened to them was 100% on Diddy. It just don't even make no sense. How do you grow if that is your mindset? And I'm not saying you got to beat yourself up, but you got to say to yourself, you know what? I got to look at why I stayed, or else I may end up in another relationship with the same result. You got to own a piece of the pie. And I'm not saying it got to be 50-50. I'm not saying it got to be 90-10. Maybe you feel you own 1% or 2%, but I feel like they feel that none of this was on them. All the onus is on somebody else. The people that watched that didn't help them, Diddy, the cook, the chef, the security guard. You yourself said nothing, but they were supposed to say something to help you. Your one, Capricorn Clark, asked Cassie, why don't you leave? She said, because Jay-Z is already taken. Well, what do you want anybody else to do? But I digress. We got to move back to the topic here. Nobody's perfect. Listen, I got to bring the people on in the building. Y'all know what I need in the chat. What I need, y'all? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Nobody's Perfect. Diddy enters rehab while in jail. Beyonce's laptop was stolen, and Dwyane Wade honors his mother. Let me bring Julius on in the building. He's the only one on the platform today. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and start with the Diddy story. I said before that he needs extensive rehab. He needs rehab for the substances. He needs rehab for the DV. He needs rehab for his sex addiction. He needs rehab to find out and get to the core of why is he the way that he is, right? Because when you want to just constantly, have all of this rage and anger and put your hands on people, it's a problem. Let me go ahead and share a screen because listen, his sentencing is October the 3rd, I think they said. And it's a start that that his team can put in with the judge to say he's trying. So Diddy's DOM, violence, drug programs in prison, all about redemption. So Diddy is already attempting to rehabilitate himself. He's enrolling in self-improvement programs while in federal lockup to address his drug use and violence against women. Sources close to the situation tell TMZ Diddy is in the STOP program. Of course, the feds offer inmates focus on preventing SA, DV, and dating violence. We're also told he is undergoing therapy and is in the Dr. Harry K. Wexler drug abuse program. That guy, the way they said it and wrote it there, it must be somebody very like popular or good with that particular program. So hopefully it really works for him. Our sources say Diddy is using the programs to work hard on bettering himself. And one source called it his path toward redemption. Of course, cynics may say there's a different motivation. Diddy's federal trial featured lots of testimony about D abuse against Cassie and Jane, as well as his rampant use of substances like the M1. It is not uncommon for convicted individuals to enter various programs to show the judge they're serious about rehabilitation ahead of sentencing. As we reported, Diddy's sentencing will go down on October 3rd. To be honest with you, before you know it, October 3rd is going to be here. We're told he's actually started the treatment before his arrest last year, and he's continued while behind bars. So I guess he was already in substance abuse treatment. But the ironic thing to me is, if he was already in treatment before he even got arrested, was it really working? Because when they took him in that night and locked him up at the hotel he was staying in, they found substances in the room. So I don't know what to say about that. Diddy dealt federal prosecutors a major loss when he was found not guilty on racketeering and S trafficking charges, but the jury nailed him on 2 lesser charges for engaging in P. Prosecutors have recommended a 4-year sentence, but it will be up to the judge to determine his sentence. So it's going to be interesting in October to see what sentence this judge gives him. We'll time will tell. Before you know it, the summer will be over and October will be here. But again, I think it's a good thing that he has entered this program. Julius, your thoughts?
Well, if he's doing all of that, hopefully he's going by the program regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just for PR. But you know, these are celebrities after all. So we have to take things with a grain of salt. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. These I hope that this program really helped him. Mark said Puff is a good father. They never promote that about him. Well, you know what, Mark? They're not going to promote anything good about him because they wanted they thought they achieved by putting all of the smut out in the streets. They thought that, well, they did achieve part of this, right? Because every time his name is mentioned, the first thing that come out of a lot of people's mouth is he's a monster, right? But like you said, there are so many men out there that they don't acknowledge their kids, they don't help raise their kids, they don't financially support their children. And although he doesn't, all his kids are not by the same mother, all of these kids seem to really get along, and he has invested, it seems like, in all these kids, and they love him because they're showing up at that courthouse for him, for whatever it's worth. And then in addition to that, you got Quincy, who is not his biological son, who has been front and center in that courtroom too, supporting Diddy. So but I do listen, at the end of the day, the man has a lot of vices, and hopefully he can get control of some of these vices. Yeah, so I you know, it's just interesting. I'm happy for him. Let me just see. I do believe that I don't think there's a ton of sentencing history when it comes to this judge. So wait, let me just show this a little bit, because this New York Post article, they don't they don't really have history on this judge and how he normally sentences people. So that's why they're saying it's going to be interesting to see what sentence he actually ends up giving Diddy. So Diddy joins self-improvement programs to address the DV, substances, and calculated mood before sentencing, an expert says. Sean Diddy Combs has joined jail self-improvement programs aimed at curbing drug use and violence against women, a blatant bid to land less prison time at his upcoming sentencing, an expert told the Post. It's a tale as old as time, former prosecutor Nima told the Post on Tuesday. Combs, 55, was convicted earlier this month on P charges while being cleared of ST charges and racketeering counts. He faces a maximum of 20 years behind bars at his October 3rd sentencing, though he's likely to get a far lighter sentence, somewhere in the potential of the 15-month to 5-year, because of more lenient sentencing guidelines. Now, I will say this, Diddy's 55. Let's just go if he gets the max. If he gets the max, that means at 60 or 59, he'll get out, because by the time of the sentencing, he would have already served 1 year behind bars. If it's 15 months, then he'll have a few more months to do, and then he'll be out. I don't think they're going to give him the very low end. I think this judge might come somewhere in the middle. That's my thought right now. Either way, the Hip Hop Mobile has into stop program where he's being held at the Brooklyn's MDC lockup to help him work on his history of violence towards women, according to TMZ. The I'll Be Missing You rapper is also undergoing therapy in a drug abuse program that Dr. Harry Wexler runs, the outlet said, citing sources. Combs hopes the treatments will help him improve himself, sources told the celebrity news site. But the self-described cynical and jaded prosecutor said he sees the programs as Combs and his defense team effort to clinch a lenient penalty on the disgraced music mogul's day of judgment. These are calculated legal and PR moves, said the prosecutor, now a criminal defense lawyer. So this was a former prosecutor. Combs, who also founded the Sean John Fasten Line, wants to show Judge Iran that he's accepted responsibility, that he's willing to change, that he's not going to reoffend, the prosecutor said, noting one of the mitigating factors for sentencing is if the defendant accepts responsibility. So him entering these programs can say, you know, like he's going in a step in the right direction. Combs wants to demonstrate that the crimes he committed were all drug and mental health related, the lawyer said. The Bad Boy Records founders want to show he's committed to improving his life, the lawyer said, is lawyering 101. I'm completely cynical. This is all gamesmanship, the attorney said. Combs lawyers are doing their job. They are trying to minimize their client's sentencing exposure. Combs lawyers has said at prior bail hearings that before the rapper's September arrest, he was enrolled in a batters program at the Urban Resource Institute in New York. But you know what's interesting though? He wasn't in New York but a few weeks before he got arrested. So I guess as soon as he landed, he supposedly entered that program. He went to meetings. He participated. Defense lawyer Mark Anifilo said on July 2nd in arguing for Combs to be released after the mixed verdict. The judge can choose whether to follow federal sentencing guidelines, which lawyers on both sides will haggle over in the lead up to the hearing. Initially, Combs' lawyers said they believe the guideline range for their client is between 15 to 21 months, while prosecutors have argued the range should be at least 4 to 5 years. Both sides will give their final estimates in court papers they'll submit before sentencing. The Federal Probation Department will also make a determination for where it believes the guidelines lie for Combs when they weigh in factors such as criminal history. The judge will ultimately take the opinions from the prosecution, the defense, and probation to determine what he believes the guidelines should be set at. I will say this, Diddy is not a first-time offender. He does have other things on his record. I do believe that it went to court when he went to Justin School and when he was going to college, UCLA, and Diddy had got into a confrontation with the basketball coach because they did not like what was going on. Okay. So the lawyer said that since Judge Iran is fairly new to overseeing criminal cases and previously presided over civil matters, that's interesting because you can tell that this judge was new on criminal cases because to me, in my opinion, the way he behaved in this particular trial, there isn't a long track record of sentencing to pull from to see whether the jurist tends to be lenient or harsh. So they're saying there's no track record history for this judge because he used to just do civil cases. I don't think there's a ton of sentencing history when it comes to this judge, the lawyer said. Some of these former civil judges tend to be softer. During the 2-month-long trial, prosecutors claimed Combs forced women to have relations with male workers during days-long drugged up freak-offs. Prosecutors allege Combs used his employees to carry out a 20-year criminal enterprise to commit arson, forced labor, kidnapping, ST, bribery, and other crimes. Combs' lawyers admitted to the jury that Combs had a history of DV and that he liked kinky relations, said, but none of these things made him guilty of ST and racketeering. Oh, you know what? After the verdict was read, his Diddy's longtime but no longer chief of staff, Christina Corin, she was found out and about happy. I thought about it later. She was happy because now none of the alleged co-conspirators can be brought in, because how can I charge somebody with co-conspiracy to something that the main person was found not guilty of? That's why she opened her doors, came outside, and was good to go. I thought about that later, and I meant to mention it before. Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, testified about being repeatedly beaten up by Combs, including in March 2016, when he was captured on the infamous surveillance footage, shoving, kicking, and dragging Ventura in the hallway of a Los Angeles hotel. The other day when I was in New York and going to see the play, I went to see that Alicia Keys play, Hell's Kitchen. It was phenomenal. I looked up, and there in the midst of like all the theaters, there was this Intercontinental Hotel. And I said, oh my God, I will never view those hotels the same when I see them when I'm out and about in the streets. So Combs' ex-girlfriend, I think I read that. The jury found Combs not guilty of the 3 most serious charges of ST and racketeering, which have seen him face life in prison if he had been convicted. The panel convicted him of 2 counts of transportation to engage in tied to prosecutors' claims that Combs flew male escorts and his 2 girlfriends around the country for freak-offs, sex marathons, which he filmed. Combs' team did not return a post request for a comment on Tuesday. So that's just a little more in depth about this, him taking those, rehab or whatever the case may be. But like I said, in my opinion, it is a good thing. Katrina, you're up here. What are your thoughts?
I think that's best for him. Maybe that can give him some clarity. Maybe he'll come out on the better side. Because basically, just being in jail or whatsoever, that's really not rehab. You get what I'm saying? You just at a point where you can't get it. You have to train your mindset to think another way when you get out, because he's gonna have those triggers when he go back to wherever he's going, especially if he's going back to his homes where he been doing, the substances at. So maybe this can, reinvert his mind, give him a better start, show him how to deal with his triggers, and maybe he will stay sober. I'm not saying that he will, and I'm not saying that he won't, but I think that's a good step to even show that he's trying to make a change.
I'm in agreement with you. I am. All right. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and roll right into the next story. I thought this was a nice story about Dwyane Wade, his mom, and, just the background of it all. Again, the title is called Nobody's Perfect. And, his mother wasn't perfect, but he worked with his mother from the constraints and from which she was in. So Dwyane Wade, I still have my mom's letters from prison. I read them sometimes. So let's just take a listen.
So, Mr. Wade, I got to ask you, right? My dad's been incarcerated since I was 12, and I've been writing letters to him for many years. What was it like as a young kid being your mom's pen pal? What was it like for her to say that on air yesterday? Like, did she get emotional?
When we was writing letters to each other? I mean, it was the greatest pen pal that I ever had, be able to, have a connection still to my mom, even though she wasn't there in the physical, we still had a connection. We still shared things,
right?
And so she was still there for me, and I knew that she was going to get out, and so I just wanted to be there for her as much as I could as well. So I still have the letters.
No way.
I still have the letters, so I go back and I read them sometimes, to see no matter where you go in life, you always got to go back. You got to take a look. To appreciate that.
Right. Now, what message would you give to anyone who might be dealing with that? A lot of young people follow you and look up to you. What's your message to them if they have an incarcerated parent?
I mean, we all gonna deal with things our own way. I just say the biggest thing is my mom. I knew she needed my love. I knew she needed, my family knew she needed our love. We wanted to make sure she came home to us.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't been inside there, but I definitely knew that it wasn't the life that she was living before she went in. So we wanted to make sure that she understood that it was love out here waiting for her. You know what I mean? And that, we wasn't judging her. We wasn't pointing fingers at her. We just loved her. We just wanted her to come home to us. So that message kept her going. We wanted her to be a grandmother.
Right.
We wanted her to be, a mother as well, and all the things. So
can we do a quick check?
No, not with what I'm wearing.
What? This is not bad. It's actually funky.
Chill. I'm real chill. This is everything from my brand. This is all Wade gear.
Where are you up to next? What do you got coming up?
I'll be here hosting today's show. That's
is this going to be a regular gig? Because you've been here quite a lot.
I mean, only if people really want me to be here.
We do.
They'll put pressure on NBC.
Oh, put pressure on NBC. Okay. So it's been decades since Dwyane Wade's mom was in prison, but he just revealed to TMZ Sports he still has all the notes she sent him from her time behind bars, and he still reads them to this day. The NBA legend opened up about being pen pals with Jalinda Wade while she was incarcerated earlier in his life, and he explained why it's super important to both of them to keep in contact despite her situation. He told us he wanted to let her know we wasn't judging her, we wasn't pointing fingers at her, we just loved her, and we just wanted her to come home to us. As for the letters to him, even though she couldn't be around him physically, the messages still gave him the strong connection to his mom that he desired. Dwyane told us he actually still pores over her words from time to time, revealing no matter where you go in life, you got to go back and take a look to appreciate things. And I truly believe that too. Jolinda, who battled addiction, was released from custody in 2003 and found sobriety. She went on to become an on-day pastor, and in 2008, Dwyane gifted her a Chicago church. Let's take a look at this really quickly.
We are back with my co-host, Dwyane Wade. And Dwyane, we have a surprise for you. And you know that. You are a 3-time NBA champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame. People around the world love you. But maybe no one more than a woman we're about to hear from. It's your mom, Jolinda.
Oh.
And she wrote a beautiful letter about you. Take a look.
My love, on January 17, 1982, you were born. God knew. I heard the nurse say, "It's a boy." And I remember uttering the word, "Wow." I thought I wouldn't have a son because I already had 3 beautiful daughters. Your sisters, Deanna, Keisha, and Tregill. After you were born and I first held you, in my spirit mind, I heard the word blessing. Though I did not understand its meaning at the time. But as my life has journeyed on, I can finally say, I got it now. You are and have always been just that, a blessing. A blessing definitely to me and to so many others whose lives you have touched. You are a history maker. There is a saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. You, my son, definitely do not waste your mind. You do not squander your dreams or your life's purpose. And I love that about you. I remember how we became pen pals when I was incarcerated. Your letters got me through each day and enabled me to be a part of all the wonderful things that was happening in your life. When you sent me pictures of my grandson, Zaire, I was able to tell from your letters how very proud you were. You made up your mind that you were going to be the best dad you could be. And that is exactly what you have become. Son, you are simply one of the best dads a child could have. Just like everything else in your life, you give fatherhood your all. My love, I admire how you embrace your beautiful child, Zaya, my granddaughter. And you encourage her to be who she is. What a dad. You protect her. You speak with her to understand who she is. You don't judge or condemn. In our family, you are the first to win on so many levels. I am blessed to watch your life unfold before my eyes. From day one, I loved you and I knew you were special. I thank God for your grandmother, my mom, helping establish God in your life. Son, and I know God is not through with molding and guiding the best son in the world. I love you more with each passing second, minute, and hour of your life. Kisses, kisses, hug, hug. My son, I am proud and elated to be your mom.
Okay, I have chills everywhere. What was that like to hear from her?
You know, my mom sends me, we send each other voice notes very often.
Yeah.
And she hits me like that so much. She puts still, like when you're a kid and your parents say nice things to you, it makes you walk out of the house feeling like you can conquer anything. I'm a 43-year-old man and my mom still sends me voice notes and notes like that. And I feel like I can conquer anything. So,
well, Mama Wade loves you so much, she couldn't just send that. She is here.
You know,
you knew she was coming out.
I thought she would let me know. She would let me know, you know.
Here she is. Oh.
Oh, there my computer go.
Oh, right. You look so beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I got your makeup on.
Yes, sir. I went to the old man.
Oh, Mama Wade, come sit with us. She is going to chat with us a little more right after this break. How are you? That was so beautiful. I'm weeping.
Looking fly.
Looking gorgeous. Just before the break, we surprised Dwyane with his mom, Miss Jolinda Wade, and she kindly stayed to chat with us. You go by Mama Wade too, though, right?
Yes.
Mama Wade, what's it like to see your son in this new light? He's hosting the Today Show.
I know.
Oh,
And just to see how his life keep exploding,
yeah.
it always takes me, you know. I used to have a saying when he played basketball, when I used to see him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, baby, you make mama's heart go pitter-patter.
Oh,
Because I'd be going through a thing over there.
yeah.
So this is another moment in his life where once again my heart is going pitter-patter.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Dwyane, you've been open, both of you, about your mom's journey, which wasn't always so easy. There were moments of real hardship. And yet here she is, doing great.
Yeah.
And I know part of that is God.
Yeah.
What has it been like to be with your mom throughout her journey?
It has been a journey. You know, and I think the goal in life for me, and I know so many others, is to experience life in its entirety.
Yeah.
Like to experience a full life. And we've experienced, my mom is 70, and, you know, in my 43 years, I've experienced a full life with her, you know, to this point. But just to know where she is in life for us as her kids, my sister Trigil, Deanna, Keisha, who are not, they ain't here, right? You know, we're just also super proud. And, you know, because we don't give up on each other. We don't judge each other. You know, we just be there for each other. We show up as family for each other. And to see her at 70 living the life that she's living now and the health that she has, and, you know, and just, you saw my smile when she came out.
Oh my God,
no one makes me smile as big as my mom. And so,
And
just
you're
a
a
treat.
pastor now, Mama
Yes,
Wade.
yes.
A church that Dwyane helped you acquire, for lack of a better word. What has that been like for you,
Well,
that calling?
and that call there was a call, I said, coming out of the wilderness and going and being placed in a position where now you are responsible for more souls than your own children. My struggle, I say our because my kids struggled with me, and everything that.
Do you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about what your struggle was and how this new chapter has been a gift for you?
Oh, I have no problem sharing my struggle. I remember my son when they first wanted to do a story about me, and I told him because I wanted to respect the space that he had got in. And he said, Ma, you go and tell your story because the only thing it's going to do is help someone. And I always blessed him for that. I felt released. I would have did it anyway, but I felt released that he, you know, wasn't ashamed of it and wanted me to let the world know. So I grappled many years with drug addiction, heroin, alcohol, well, you know, we can go down there and name it. Alcoholism, homelessness, in and out of prison. Just living a life that was totally separated from my babies. One thing I always wanted to be was a mother. And once I stopped being that person, I lost me. And I didn't know how to grab me back at the time. But one thing about my precious 4 babies, they never stopped loving me. Never stopped loving me, never judged me, never condemned me. Just every time they saw me, I get that, you know, this is my only son, so he's a little favorite. So when he show up,
Wait, don't say that in front of your daughters.
Oh, they know. They know.
She know.
You know.
Everybody.
And did their love, and we gotta bring, come on out, Dwyane's sister, who we talked about you because he said you come sit next to your brother-in-law, that you raised him. That when Mama Wade was going through all of her hardships, you were there. And one of the things that I just think is like y'all's love must have saved you in some ways.
Oh, many times, many times. When I did want to be here, when suicide came up, I would see their faces, and I didn't want to do it anymore, you know. And for this one right here, she didn't know she was born to take that role. I had no idea.
What was it like raising this guy, helping to raise this guy?
Helping, yeah. He is a tough guy.
Sorry, yeah.
You know what? I'm talking about it now. No. I say now, you know, I am really careful about what I say about my past now that I'm older, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I do know is he was shy. You know, I felt that I was born to protect him. So he would always be behind me, and he did. He followed me everywhere I went. And so now I would say, you know, I'm grateful to have had that opportunity to be that for him, because it also gave me a why.
Dwyane, what would you say to these two women about what they've given you?
Strength, you know. Growing up, obviously being a mama's boy, like most boys are. Being the youngest, being the only boy, like I had my way. It was good. But you know, watching my mom, you know, go through something I could not understand at the young age that I was at. I didn't even know what judgment really was. I just knew what love was.
Yeah.
And I always say, you know, the way that my mom and my sister showed up for me and the way they have loved me is how I carry love through with everyone that I come across, and especially my kids. And so it's not foreign, you know, if you know us, of how I parent and how me and my wife parent, because, you know, they saw through it all and, you know, really helped me get to where I am. And so I hold them on a high pedestal. For sure. And I just, you know, I love these two women.
Well, you all are exceptional. We talked about you in the chat, which
we
is
did. Crazy.
You all are
we gonna talk
exceptional.
after this.
You raised a compassionate, empathetic, loving son. So we love y'all. Thank you for being here. And we'll be back. We're going to do Pilates. Y'all want to join us?
Look at that. We're on the Today Show, y'all. We're on the Today Show right now. We're on the couch. Look at that. We're on the couch.
You know, listen, I told you I'm not a big sports person. I'm hearing a lot from you all about him. I do not like the way the break baby is not allowed to be part of the family. And that's why I titled this Nobody's Perfect. Because I will also say again, I know, you know, I'm doing this because we know the name, so to speak. You got to give this piece to Diddy, is that, again, I say different baby mothers, but all of them kids are tight. They seem very close-knit. And in addition to that, the twins and Chance are literally the same age. So that means both the mothers were kind of pregnant at the same time. But yet, those girls get along very well. Let me finish this here. So last week she surprised her now 43-year-old son on the Today Show with Jenna and friends, and told him how much it meant to her that he'd write her during her time in a cell. Your letters got me through each day and enabled me to be part of all the wonderful things that was happening in your life, she said. The two shared an embrace on set and went on to have a sweet chat about how much each meant to one another. So let me stop sharing. Julius, your thoughts?
That woman has a testimony.
Mm-hmm.
She has a testimony. I'm putting him aside for a minute. Because the spirit say, talk about the mama. All she dreamed about was being a mother. Until she was unable to be that. And that was a struggle for her. Due to the substances. She fought her way back. By the grace of God. And that's a blessing right there in itself. Yes, I do see love on that stage. Now, I don't know much about his past with his ex-wife. I just know how his child was treated by her mother, and it was quite unkind. That's as far as I know. So his past with his ex-wife, like when they was in high school, that's them. That's something I'm not able to comment on. But, you know, if he lived with his ex's family, if he didn't, that's not for me to say. But I could tell it wasn't easy on his sister. His sister she looks like she's breathing just a sigh of relief that he's here standing today. And so for that, I could say, yeah, she did do a good job, even if she wasn't raising him for a time. She had a part in raising him. So, you know, that can't be taken from her. Because we all have to remember, when you heard the mother speak, his sister was a child herself, figuring her own self out. So that's where I stand with it.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So let me add this to the conversation, then I'm coming to you, Katrina. Um how do I want to put this? I will say a challenging thing to do is to operate nicely in blended families, right? And the thing is, if you have just one party in the blended family that don't want to be nice in the situation, things just go awry, right? Now I'm sorry, I am remembering, I do remember the first wife and the set of kids that he had with her. And I don't, I think a mother should always be able to mother her child, even if the child is not living with her and living with the dad. And I think that it would be, I think that the new wife should encourage and allow the participation of the actual birth mother of the child. So y'all are bringing me back to some things. And I'm being reminded. And Nadira, I hope I'm saying your name right, Nadira Williams. I'm connecting with you a little bit. But I'm wondering, are we going to give redemption to people? Can we give redemption, or do we don't we? Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I need him to feel how he felt when his mom was away from him,
Mm,
and how those kids feel that they're away from their mom. Look how
okay.
he felt. You get what I'm saying? Look how he felt.
I am. I'm connecting with y'all.
So
Uh-huh.
I need him to feel the same way how his kids feel that they're separated from their mom. I mean, I get it. You know, your mom is there, and you know, the mom's always gonna look out for them boys. Trust me, I know. I'm one. But I'm just saying, you treating your kids the way that you got treated when you was growing up, because your mom was locked up. You couldn't get to your children. You couldn't get to her. Now you keeping your kids away from their mom, and she's not locked up. So you have to flip the script. And the thing of it is, I get it. You know, your mom came out of prison. She walked into a millionaire lifestyle, and I understand that. I mean, what child doesn't want to give their mom the best? Um, that's one thing I can say about Tupac. You know, his mom was a Black Panther on substances and stuff like that, but he always respected his mama, as we seen. Now you got people on these streets. I don't know if you watch it. I don't really watch it as well. But you got these people on the street. And I don't know how Jackie treated the girl on Basketball Wives. But I'm
Mhm.
not gonna be on TV going against my mama like that and having people talk about my mama like that. And I'll be dang if I call my mama by her first name. I'm not going to disrespect my mom. And if you felt that way, you should have stayed off camera, and you and your mom should have handled this than bringing this on TV and letting people see how this is playing out. And I'm not saying that Jackie was the best mom. I don't know what Jackie mothering skills was, but I did see on one episode that she did try to go through counseling. But you coming on take on the screen disrespecting your mama like that, calling her B word, girl, get it together. I don't care what your mom did or what I do care, but what I'm saying is handle that off screen.
Even
Don't
her
come over
sister
there.
can matter.
Don't come on now disrespecting your mom in that way. And the same thing with him. Yes, I see what you did for your mom, and that's lovely. But you got to realize your kids. You did the same thing to your kids and your ex-wife that your mom did to you. So, I mean, I get it. You want this to be done. And another thing, and I know we don't talk on these type of subjects deep, and I get it. But what I was saying is, I don't think they should do that to a child until they reach a certain age because your body go through so many different emotions, and let that child make that decision once they are an adult, not a child, because a child go through so many emotions, it's ridiculous. But the thing with him, I'm glad he helped his mom. I could see the love. I could see that she loved her son, and who doesn't? I mean, I could see that, and I'm proud of him doing that. But you also need to, if you practicing this, doing this type of way with your mom, you need to realize about your children, mom, because that's gonna come back to bite you anyway. Whether he want to know it or not, these kids gonna hold some type of resentment, whether they showing it right now or not. It's still gonna come up. It's gonna come up in them. So hopefully they can get counseling and all that type of stuff. And even with him being married to Gabrielle Union, she had to pay half of the rent in that house. But anyway, I ain't gonna go into that. But what I'm saying is treat your kid's mom the way that you want somebody to treat your mom. But that's all I got.
Thank you. Hey, Felicia, give me a minute. So, Claire, I saw this story with Dwyane Wade and his mother, how she was, had addictions when he was growing up. And, he was the pen pal for her, during her prison time or whatever the case may be. I thought it was a great story. But y'all are adding stuff that I forgot about. That I'm like, whoa, but I did say title here, nobody's perfect. Felicia, you're in the building. Not sure you heard the story. And if you want to comment on this story.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
I hope
evening.
everyone is holding up through all this flooding and all this heat and all this water. Yeah, I had to come up. Because we had fake and fraud sitting up there. I'm sick of both of their asses.
Oh, my God.
It is really... I'm done with the false narratives. I mean, I really am. We're looking at 2, if I got it right, of the 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's grown now.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's been cleaned up. She looks great. She's sitting up there half reading some stuff about pitter patter and you was my heart, my love, and yeah. But then when what's her name, the Bush girl says, well, tell us a little bit about what the struggle was. Somebody correct me. I didn't hear the struggle. I heard she was using substances, but we don't know what the struggle was. Did I hear the struggle? Did I miss it? Okay, so I didn't hear the struggle. I heard the substances part. So the only thing that could come to mind was she'd been laid out and put out, and she's been a mess. And her daughter, who, thank you, Julius, thank you, who too was a child and had to endure all of that ugly life, and now raise a child that ain't hers, and it wasn't her baby, versus foster care. She comes out to be a little humble because that's how they had to train her. I helped out a little bit. No, girl, you stood in the stead, because he was on his way to foster care. But you took on a responsibility that wasn't yours. And even in that moment, your mother doesn't know how to sit aside and give you grace and give you thanks and introduce you in the way that you should have been introduced. And of course, her brother was much younger because I think there's a 9-year, 10-year difference. Yep. So he said, well, I was sending the letters and there was no finger pointing. You don't have the same memories as the oldest, sir. No, you don't. So you need to give her grace. You need to understand that your sister gave up her life as a young kid so you could have one. And now we hear Mama talking about, yes, I always knew his career was blossoming. I watched what he was doing. Yes, you did. And thank you, Katrina. So you get released and you come out to this millionaire lifestyle and you have no humility. You think you could just be gifted a church and become a shepherd and walk people in the word and in the light and through a struggle because your son endured because of the love of his sisters, because you was in a struggle that I don't know, so I can't talk about it, where you decided to go use substances and be on the street all hours of the day and the night, abandon your children.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know what she did to get locked up for so long. Now, come on, let's talk about it. Because we know a lot of people do dope. They ain't locked up like that. But we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. This is part, I believe, of the problem with Black American culture. We got a problem with the truth.
Oh, my God. Woo.
And the truth is going to make you uncomfortable for a little bit, folks. But then we can settle in and we could talk about some things and talk about change, and we could talk about breaking some of these legacies that's holding us down and hurting one another. Now, if mom thinks she gonna walk into the church and she gonna be the pastor, she gonna bring people to the light, she gonna bring people into Christ, well, good luck with that. Because what I've learned from scripture is that Jesus Christ is the truth, the life, and the way. So you better come with the truth first. Because this wasn't about no pen pal letters and, gee whiz. Let's just write each other for a meantime. And then God bless these two panelists. They're very clear, and the people in the chat. So now what about your children, Dwyane? Okay, let's talk about, you the best daddy, you the best father. You and your mother is a fake and a fraud.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Not fake and fraud.
Yes, they are.
Oh, my gosh.
You got all kind of issues out here. Unable to parent safely. You afraid of your wife, what she think, what they don't think. No, I'm not buying any of it. And last, I don't know why he's wearing that very cashmere pearl lace sweater up there. I don't get it.
I was wondering why he had on the Letterman sweater, but go ahead.
What was that? This is what you need
a
to
Letterman
do.
Sweater. It called a Letterman sweater. You was in high school, you wore a Letterman
He
sweater.
ain't in no high school.
He
don't have no business up there wearing this lace sweater unless they tell him wear this so maybe you can get the job. You don't need this job, son. You need to go fix your family.
And
God bless the folks in the chat. He said, no, what about Zaire's mother? She has a right to be part of her life. I hope fake and fraud don't come back. What is it? What are they said they don't want them on the show. I agree. I hope they never come back. I'm done.
Woo! Come on, KJ. Well, I thought I was bringing us a feel-good story, but y'all gathered me tonight. But I told y'all I don't really do sports like that. So they had me hook and sink. I was like, oh my God, this is so nice. He forgave his mother, this and that. And I did forget about the break baby that quick. And I'm only saying it that way because I forgot the child's name. No disrespect. and how, you know, he did sit in the podcast talking about that Gabrielle Union doesn't want the boy around, so when he takes him out, it got to be just those two. So he don't get to come to Christmas or none of that. And as somebody pointed out, it is no different than when he got snatched away from his mother because the mother was incarcerated. So he, of all people, should know better. Sorry, y'all. I did forget about the first wife. Give me a minute, Julius. I did forget about the first wife. I did. I'm sorry, but y'all got me together. The feel-good story going wrong.
That's what we here for, Diva.
It's all love at the end of the day.
I know it is, but I'm just saying the feel-good story going wrong. Good
Did
gosh.
I mention how much I can't stand Gabrielle Union?
All right. Well, I'm going to roll into this last story. Again, remember, y'all, nobody's perfect, including me. Okay? So, this last story, I love y'all back. You know I do. But y'all reminded me, he ain't right to all the kids. He ain't right to the ex-wife because she should be. She gave birth to that kid. So, I'm going to roll into, we keep the train from derailing. Y'all do. Because they had me. I was like, why not? Why not have him on the Today Show? Why not give him the job? Mother running the church now. But I guess I got gathered. All right. So listen, I am going to do a meet and greet. If you in the New York area, New York, New Jersey, but when I hit 100K, y'all, I'm going to do a meet and greet. But you know, okay, so let's roll into this last story. So this last story is Beyonce. I feel, let me tell you something. I don't care if you work in Target, Walmart, Starbucks, you work for Diddy, you work for Beyonce, you work for whoever. Everybody wants to please their boss. They do. And I'm not talking about it like in a bad way. When, you know, if I work, I'm happy when my boss is happy. And they say, job well done. So this person, they driving around with the laptop in the car, and it got stolen. Imagine having to go back and tell Beyonce and them that her stuff was stolen. It's not cool. Let's take a listen. So Beyonce, 911 caller says, really, really important data stolen. Okay. Wait, hold on. It's playing too quickly. Let's take a listen.
Atlanta 911 operator 7731. What's the location of your emergency?
I am at.
You need police, fire, or an ambulance?
It's someone broke into my car.
Okay. Are you at a business? Parked at a business?
No, I was parked at in a garage while I went to a restaurant, but they stole like my computers and everything, but it has a tracker on it.
What level of the parking lot? Okay. What level are you on?
On the main level.
Do you have an address of where your computer is?
So it's following them because it's on Find My iPhone. They have my computers, and it's really, really important information in there. Like I work with someone who's like of a high status, and I really need the
what's
my
your
computer
name?
and everything. It's under.
That's a good callback number for you.
Yes.
All right, we'll get an officer out there as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Child, you're not at the restaurant and got the darn Beyonce computer stole. So Beyonce may just get her unreleased music back and soon, because tracking device was placed inside the stolen items. Here's the scoop. TMZ obtained the 911 audio from the Atlanta PD in which you can hear one of Beyonce's crew members explaining to the dispatcher that someone had broken into his rented Jeep parked inside a garage while he was eating in a nearby restaurant on July 8th. The caller says his computers were stolen with a locating device inside, and he can pinpoint where the electronics are going on his phone. He also says there's really, really important information in the computers before dropping a bombshell that he works for a celeb with high status. Of course, he's referring to none other than Bey, but he doesn't reveal the singer's name. The dispatcher says she will send officers to the scene and the call ends. As we reported Monday, APD officers responded to the parking garage on July 8th after receiving a call for a theft from a motor vehicle. When cops arrived, they spoke with two of the Bey's crew members who reported that the trunk window of their rented Jeep Wagner had been damaged and two of their suitcases were stolen. The pair told police that inside the missing suitcases were hard drives with Beyonce's unreleased music, set lists, and plans for her Cowboy Carter tour. Good gosh almighty. Cops say they're currently tracking the computers and running 2 sets of fingerprints recovered from the Jeep. They also ID'd the suspect's case. They issued an arrest warrant, but haven't publicly released the person's name. Well, personally, I think they said Atlanta is ratchet. Always take your computer with you. Listen, personally, I think honestly that it shouldn't have just been loosey-goosey with somebody. But Julius, your thoughts?
This person worked for Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
This person probably knows all her secrets by now. Hopefully not. Is probably trying to find a way to release the music, but who knows?
I don't think he would do that and call the cops.
No, I'm talking about the thieves.
Oh, the thief. Oh,
yeah, the thieves. This person, I can hear the afraidness. This person may not have a job.
Oh.
One thing I know from reading articles in the past is Beyonce does not like when her stuff is played with. That's putting it politely. Yeah, I mean, this person made a mistake, like those in the chat are saying. I would have took the suitcases with me. Just to be on the safe side. That's just me, and I agree with that sentiment. And inform the restaurant, listen, I work for this person with high status. I have to keep this with me. Please understand. And go about my business. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Hey, Julius, you 2 for 2 for night. Because I'm going to tell you, I agree with you. Beyonce don't like her stuff messed with. So that person already fired. They're gone. They're gone. The good news for them, it ain't the holiday season. Okay, no need for extra cash. Okay. You do not, if what he said is true, that there is information about the upcoming shows, I guess the stats, who's supposed to be on this team, the costumes and so forth. If he got all of that data and only one that got that data, and I don't know why he would have unreleased copyrighted music, but let's say all of that is true. He should have had that information with him. You don't leave that in the vehicle. You're not reckless like that. He got too comfortable then. See, I don't have enough information, but if it's true, what was said, he got reckless. He was too comfortable. So he's unemployed. He'll be out of work for a while. He's not going to get any good recommendations. But let's talk about the thief. Now, the thief has been contacted. The Atlanta police have said, we understand that you may have stolen material in your possession. You got one of two things you can do. You can turn it in. Or we're going to, issue a warrant for your arrest. So that's how we get to this warrant. So now where is this person? Why would this person be hiding somewhere? They went to go get a lawyer or something? I'm trying to figure out why they didn't just turn it back in. They know who it is.
Right. Okay.
You don't issue a warrant to an anonymous name. You know who you're looking for. So the person is known. They've been to whoever they stay. They're not there. So they're waiting for them to return this stuff. Why haven't they turned it in? I mean, one person getting fired and look, the other person's going to jail. 2 idiots. I'm done.
Ooh, child. Katrina, your thoughts?
How much this person got paid to let them folks steal that stuff out that car? Because this is Atlanta. This is Atlanta. And what I want to get is who's breaking in stealing suitcases? And the tablets inside the suitcases. I mean, like, so who breaking in people's car just stealing suitcases? That just don't sound right to me. And I know the Beehive gonna get mad, but didn't Beyonce steal some other people's work as well? So maybe that's just a stretch coming back from a stretch. And what I'm saying is, this is Atlanta, and you leaving your car and you got suitcases in there. This is not making no sense to me. And then now, like Felicia said, they know the person who got the stuff, but it hasn't been returned yet. I'm thinking like that the driver or whosoever probably was paid to have that stuff stolen, because who know that computers inside that luggage. This is weird. Something is not right with this story. It's something is not right. And then you know that you're gonna leave this and go eat, but you're gonna leave all this stuff inside of a car. As important as the stuff is supposed to be, she got unreleased music on this. You're gonna keep an eye on this everywhere you go. And this person breaking in your car and it's a Jeep, the alarms or nothing didn't go off. You can move my car door or hit something and my alarm gonna go off. If somebody try to open my door or either try to break my window, my alarm is gonna go off. None of this happened. None of this happened. I don't get it. This not making no sense. This person, the way they was talking on the phone, they didn't seem like they was upset or hysterical whatsoever. He was calm. I'm like, how much they paid you so they can get that music up out of there? Cause it's not making no sense to me. He was not frantic, like somebody broke in my car. And I don't know. No, he was calm. They stole my stuff. It was a big time person and all this. He was too calm about it. I'm just thinking like he might be fired, but ain't no telling how much he got paid to have that music taken up out that car. And Beyonce have been everywhere, but when she come to Atlanta, her music automatically just gets stolen. I would see it happen in Texas more than I would see it happening in Atlanta. So something's not right about the story. Maybe when the person come forward and all that type of stuff, maybe we'll know. I don't know. But like I said, this is just a little fishy to me. It's a little fishy. And maybe if she was in that little red car floating around and stuff. Anyway, like I said, it just real. It's real fishy. And hopefully she'll find her music back and whoever this person is, because I think the driver's in on with them, but we'll know from there. And like, who's breaking this person's car not even using gloves? Okay, all right. Like I said, we'll find out later. But that's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. So you know what? You got me thinking here. The phone call was calm. And when I first got my car, I think I buy my car in 2022. Either way, it was like right after somebody ended up breaking in, because I ran in the gym and I was running late for my class and I wasn't thinking, and I left my pocketbook right there on the seat and they broke into my car. But when I bring that up to say that when I called the cops, I was so frantic, I was so emotional, it was so upsetting to me. And so you're right. It was a calm phone call to the 911. But I don't know if that means anything, but it was very calm, especially for you to have lost something of high level importance, you know. But luckily there was a tracking system in there and he was able to track it. So we'll see. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit the like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. Wait a minute. What did Increase Matter say? Do you think the Burning Blue by Mariah the Scientist is Prince song sample? I gotta listen to it a little bit more and then I'll get back to you. Yeah. cars broken into. Yeah, you know, cars broken into in Atlanta all the time in those parking lots. It happened to my husband's car. Yeah, the car being broken into for me wasn't strange either. But now that I think about it, the phone call was kind of just, you know, for it to be some important information that was stolen, it was pretty calm. It was pretty calm. But listen, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody.